One of my great joys every year is the opportunity to kind of give a state of the city update to council. That is who it is for, and to the public. It has to be free, and so our kind of our history has been to do this at the last council meeting of the year before the new council members are seated. So we typically do that in May. However, with this year, somebody else will likely be seated in this seat come May 14th before our next regularly scheduled meeting, and we don't want to take anything away from them. So we thought, let's do this in April and stay ahead of the curve and just kind of give an update on some of the realities of the city. It has been an incredible year. In fact, for me, it's been an amazing 6 years. It's been one of my greatest pleasures in life to have this opportunity to lead the city of Fulshear and serve as the mayor. But it has not been without its challenges. There's been lots of really good things, and there's been numerous challenges in the last year, especially as it relates to some of the growth that we've experienced year after year. If I can sum up Fulshear in one word, it's growth. That is the reality of Fulshear. It is growing, and it is growing rapidly. Landowners have a right to do with their land as they choose. And we live in a state that is very heavy property rights, and we as a city have very little authority. And unfortunately, one of the challenges is the state has continued to take away what little authority a city does have to regulate within its boundaries. And so even throughout the course of the year, we spent a lot of time looking at legislation and the impact of that legislation on the city, multiple trips to Austin, just to kind of say, hey, guys, be careful. The unintended consequence of a bill that allows for a de-annexation by petition has had an astronomical effect on a city like Fulshear, losing literally millions of dollars in potential revenue for regional parks and things like that. So it's legislation has been a challenge, and will continue to be. We don't see that changing anytime in the near future. As many as over 2,000 bills filed at the state in this next biennial will impact cities. And so it's going to be important to stay in front of that legislation and what's happening. One of the other challenges, obviously, is related to schools. Part of that goes back to legislation. Unfortunately, the state does not consider schools critical infrastructure. No matter how much we scream and say schools should be a part of that equation, that is not the reality. And so we're continuing to push our legislators to allow us to consider what's happening at the schools, especially in these fast growth communities. But we are proud of our schools. We're proud of KDISD schools that are on our eastern boundaries of the city. And then, of course, our Lamar Consolidated, Fulshear High, and the elementaries that feed it, the junior high, the sixth grade campus. We are so proud of the schools and the new schools that we will be opening in this fall, and then in 2025, and then in 2026 and 27, and all of the other schools that are coming with that as part of the Purple Track. So we spent a lot of time with the administration for Lamar Consolidated. Obviously, water. It was a challenge. We're going to talk quite a bit about water tonight and some of the water projects that are happening in the city. Fortunately, the city has been planning for this through the Water and Wastewater Master Plan. We just had to get to a point where we can issue those bonds so that we could start doing the design and start the building and start getting to that place. And so finally, we were able to get there, and so those projects are off the ground, and we'll talk more about those, and staff's going to share some things about those projects here in the next couple of moments. But one of the highlights of the year just recently happened as we celebrated the city's bicentennial. We celebrated Churchill Fulshear Jr. coming and settling on the hill just west of here, overlooked Fulshear Lake, and bringing the railroad, and then ultimately platting the city and ending up where we are today as the premier address in Fort Bend County. Every day I talk to people who are saying, hey, I'm looking forward. We're looking at property in Fulshear. We're thinking about moving to Fulshear. We're looking at houses. We're doing this, and it is exciting. And I run into that whether I'm downtown Houston or I'm in Sugar Land or even in Austin not long ago, hey, we're thinking about moving to Fulshear. What can you tell us? And so we're excited about that, but we understand some of the challenges that brings, and this year has highlighted many of those. In the last year, the city has shifted into a pivotal period of growth and change, and doing our best to remain true to our roots. It's why many of us in this room have chosen to live here in Fulshear. I moved here in 2012 and I fell in love with the city. And I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited about its future. It's a place that I call home. Day in, day out, staff and council remain dedicated to ensuring that Fulshear remains that premier address in Fort Bend County. In fact, I think there's a couple other mayor and council members in the room tonight. I didn't know they were coming, but they're here from other cities because they recognize what is happening in the city of Fulshear and the impact that we're having in our community and throughout the county. Tonight, we'll hear from several staff members and projects that are underway and that are proud to be a part of that. So turn your attention to the screen.
Over the last 5 years, the city of Fulshear has seen tremendous growth, and with that growth comes challenges, of course, but it also presents opportunities. With the actions we've taken and will continue to take in the coming months and years, I get more confident that we're on the right path to address the needs of the community. As state law has continued to strip authority away from municipalities all over the state, we as a staff and city more broadly have to get more creative with how we address problems. This requires constant communication and relationships with our partners in other levels of government, such as the school districts, on new school sites, TxDOT, Fort Bend County, and the Tort Authority with our major thoroughfares, and our other area utility providers and agencies. We're fortunate to be working closely with LCISD as they go through permitting, construction, and seeking new school sites, including new elementaries and secondary schools that will be open in the coming years, not only within the city limits, but for the benefit of our residents in our extraterritorial jurisdiction, or ETJ. Another example is our projects on James Lane, where we'll be partnering with Fort Bend County on the reconstruction of that road in a way that better accounts for pedestrians, improves pavement, but ideally will also preserve the rural charm of that particular corridor. And in that same area, we're also working closely with Mud One to quickly build a water line connection for the benefit of this area of Fort Bend Fulshear Creek. And water has to be a focus for us going forward. As always, downtown has to be a priority for us. It's the heart of our city and where we need to focus our economic development and infrastructure efforts. And you'll hear more about that in a bit from other staff. As I turn it over to the rest of staff and mayor, I'm proud to say that our organization continues to improve with new, innovative projects and solutions to meet the needs of our vibrant and growing community, and importantly, takes advantage of the opportunities in front of us.
A project I'm excited about is the expansion of the downtown water plant. Construction began this year in 2024 and is expected to be completed in spring of 25. This project is just one of many that the city has underway or in discussion to help mitigate future water loss issues like we experienced during the drought in 2023.
So 2 projects we're really excited about are our elevated storage tank project and our water plant 2 project. So behind me you'll see our elevated storage tank. The pedestal is basically completed. They're going to start the bowl on this one very soon. The elevated storage tank is going to provide 1 million gallons worth of additional storage capacity, and also, being that it's an elevated storage tank, will create pressure in our system. Water Plant 2 project, which is also located on the same site, will include ground storage and a well, which will also bring water up out of the ground, increasing the city's overall capacity.
We are super excited to see that base of that water tower going up. That'll make a tremendous difference. Not only that, but we'll be receiving those 1,000 connections back from Tamaron West. We will be completing a 16-inch water line that goes all the way down to 1093. It's already stubbed out coming out of the plant. That project's already been completed. An extra 1 million gallon storage tank there at the downtown water plant there located at Huggins. Will be in completing a loop in Fulbrook on Fulshear Creek, all of which will have a tremendous impact on water as we come into this summer, with of course the next the next water plant coming online that provides an extra 4 million gallons a day of pumpage, and as well as that 1 million gallon water tower that's going in there. It looks like hopefully July, August we'll be able to turn on that water tower. That'll help with the storage and capacity. While the plant may not be up and running, it's looking like we'll be able to use that as we get into the heat of the summer, and as kids go back to school and all of those water woes start happening early in those early mornings. So we're excited to see those projects continue. Additionally, one of the things that the residents talk most about when it comes to quality of life is parks. And so we are extremely excited that just a couple of weeks ago, we were able to do the groundbreaking of Eagle Landing, the soccer fields that are coming, the 22 acres of soccer there just to the north of downtown in Tamarron West. And Primrose Council has encouraged staff to continue that process, design, get it built, and continue moving, even considering going out for a parks bond to ensure that we have everything we need as quickly as possible. That'll be coming back to council later hopefully this summer, before we get too far into the year for them to discuss whether or not it's the right time to consider a parks bond. But we understand how important parks are to our community, and so we're excited to see those proceed. And in a moment, we're going to hear more about those parks from Tiffany, but we're also going to hear from staff. And one of the things that has impressed me most this last year is the efforts they are all making to make doing business in the city of Fulshear easier, increasing efficiencies, communicating better with each other, with the community, and even with council. Let's listen to them now.
Primrose Park, the long-awaited and often discussed project for staff and the Parks and Recreation Commission. Currently, we are finalizing the design for Phase 2, which focuses on ball fields. The Parks and Recreation Commission, along with staff, continue to seek potential funding opportunities to bring Fulshear a park we can all be proud of. In the meantime, come out and enjoy the quarter-mile trail and pick up or leave a book from the little libraries that an Eagle Scout project completed in 2023.
We've had an eventful year of successes and challenging opportunities, but we've stuck with the vision and the plan. Our Public Works Department has tackled the challenges by working to improve and build rapport with our communities. We've introduced and implemented winter averaging to help our residential customers realize the benefits of water conservation, began to update our metering operations, hired additional staff to improve and increase our efficiency and effectiveness of the implementation of our capital improvement program, implemented the city's branding initiatives with new street name signs, kicked off the Eagle Landing Park project, the new elevated storage tank and water plant projects, water system improvements, and increased and improved our streets and parks maintenance and management. We're growing and building a new and better community.
One of the things that the Finance Department is really proud that we accomplished during fiscal year 2023 is the implementation of the ClearGov online budgeting platform. This allowed all departments across the city to complete their budgets online, and then once completed and adopted by council, it allowed the Finance Department to complete an online digital budget book that is interactive and allows anyone that visits the city's website to review revenues, expenditures, and capital projects.
Over the last year, the city has implemented Cobblestone, a new contract management software that has increased the efficiency and streamlined the contract process between the departments. It has also created a central depository for documents moving forward.
Over the past year, our team has wholeheartedly dedicated itself to initiatives aimed at enhancing the employee experience and fostering a culture of excellence across our organization.
Through wellness challenges, monthly lunch and learns, and updated policies, we aim to promote holistic wellness. Among our inaugural initiatives is the introduction of an extended parental leave policy, offering all employees 6 weeks of paid parental leave, reflecting our dedication to supporting our team during significant life events.
Furthermore, we have revamped our onboarding procedures to ensure that every new team member feels fully supported and equipped for success right from their first day. Through comprehensive in-person training and accessible resources, we are establishing a robust foundation for their seamless integration into our community.
As we celebrate these milestones, we reaffirm our commitment to nurturing trust, enhancing communication, and fostering a supportive environment where each individual feels valued and empowered to thrive.
The biggest project that I thoroughly enjoyed doing was the historical Fulshear tour in honor of our bicentennial. And so what it does is it just gives our residents a virtual tour of all the historical locations within Fulshear boundaries and in some surrounding areas. We also did a boundaries map showing the original 1824 league acquired by Church of Fulshear Senior. So those were two very fun apps that I created for residents to just kind of go through and watch. But my most successful app that residents seem to really enjoy going to, and I've gotten most views from, is our Am I a Resident app, which allows our residents to see which districts their homes fall into. Also, it can tell our residents if they're within the city limits or the ETJ boundary.
Our latest innovation, the smart metering system, ensures transparency by allowing us to share residential water usage data through our user-friendly portal. Moreover, the system seamlessly integrates with our GIS, empowering our technicians with precise location information and optimizing their routes to water meters for efficient servicing. With this, we continue to strive to provide the latest high-tech ecosystem for our end users and incorporate security throughout our community.
The City Secretary's office continues to provide administrative support to the Mayor and City Council. This year, we're excited to be part of the election as we will be welcoming a new mayor and the possibility of 2 new council members. In the effort to make their transition into council easier, the City Secretary's office has created what we call a council welcome packet. This packet includes onboarding paperwork, as well as reference material, the city charter, city maps, staff information, board and commissions information, schedule of fees, and some of our policy and procedures.
There's a lot going on here at the City of Fulshear, especially when it comes to plans and permitting, as can be seen here. Over the past few years, there's been an exponential increase in residential development. We're excited to announce that starting in 2023 and looking forward into 24 and onward, we're seeing a transition into more commercial build-outs. One thing that we're really excited is the Lamar Consolidated Elementary School that's currently under review and will be set to open in August of 2025. Right now, it's a really exciting time for the city to be a part of this pivotal movement from residential to commercial, and we're looking forward to see what else comes in the future.
Permitting alone, sometimes 140 inspections a day through the planning department. So it is happening very, very quickly, and they continue to impress me, and I'm excited about the future. Over 83, 84, 85 employees today. The number changes quite frequently, but I believe 90-something positions this year. And so we're excited for our staff. We're thankful for them. And as that happens, it reminds me, I mentioned earlier that when I first became mayor, the first probably 4 to 4.5 years, my conversation was with all of these residential developers and their desire to be in the city. In the last 1.5 to 2 years, that conversation has shifted drastically to commercial development and to landowners who are looking forward to opening their business, whether it be downtown or adjacent to our 1093, 359 corridors, Heritage Parkway, the desire to be in Fulshear. And I cannot be more excited about that economic development, the impact that it will have on the city as we have more restaurants, as we have more boutique retail spaces, as the city continues to build out. Yes, there is an economic benefit when it comes to sales tax, but it's not just about the sales tax. It's about the quality of life that it provides for our residents and the desires that we have to have those types of businesses located here within our city. As that conversation continues to shift towards economic development, it's important to note that I think one of the first studies that was completed when we took office 6 years ago, I say we because it was a whole new dais besides Miss Kay and Miss Hollingsworth at the time, and was the Downtown Louisville Center study. And so we're excited that that project is starting to pick up some momentum. We've already had a rebranding throughout the city. The Harris Street project is underway. That'll create walkability and hopefully revitalize that portion of town, as well as the expansion of Wallace Street to eventually account for north-south pair of 359 downtown. We've got drainage. The drainage plans have been done so that we can execute that build out when appropriate. The water lines expansions, even as we talk to developers, the tie-ins are here. Here's the oversized line we need there. This is what's going to happen next. And so those plans that took a lot of work and even started before I was here, it's good to see that those are being implemented and they're being followed as we continue forward with a city that we all can be proud of and love to call home, where we not only live, but we work and we play as well. So with that being said, let's listen a little bit to our EDC director and the chief of police.
EDC partnered with the Public Works Department this year to do a complete redevelopment of Harris Street. So that'll give us on-street parking, 11-foot sidewalks on both sides, as well as 2 blocks of full plaza space. So the roads will be shut down, but it gives us a lot of area for community events. We'll have hanging lights. It'll be real pretty out there. Our hope is that we really act as a catalyst for commercial development along this corridor and then eventually to the rest of downtown.
This has been a great year for the Economic Development Corporation. I should say there have been a lot of changes. Our Type A and Type B boards, their focus does remain to just revitalize downtown. And a big part of that has been our partnership with Public Works and the reconstruction of Harris Street, which we're very much looking forward to breaking ground here in the next couple of months. Outside of that, the corporation also is working on a new monument sign of THP, and that's something that, you know, we're very proud of our city. We want people to feel that as they're driving in and remember that as they're driving out. Additionally, we're thrilled to have launched the Fulshear Fast Track, so our entrepreneurship and business hub. We are very hopeful that this new virtual just access point for entrepreneurs and investors will just be very transformative to the business landscape of the city of Fulshear. In addition to that, we have the privilege of hosting the bicentennial this year, and it was an amazing experience that really helped the city reflect on the history, on the identity of Fulshear, and really get to share that with all of the new residents. I think there's just a new energy that is coming. There's a lot of high expectations for economic development for the city, and we want to make sure we're both receptive and proactive in making sure that we're investing dollars into our infrastructure. And so conversations continue between the economic development boards, developers, our citizens, as well as the Public Works Department to find that perfect balance where our priorities align and the resources can be provided so that we can meet some of the demands, begin the projects, and complete the projects.
Currently, our biggest initiative has been our recruiting. We were tasked early on in the budget year with hiring 7 officers. We had 1 retire, so that gave us 8. And so revamping our recruiting initiatives and has been very tasking, not only for our department, for all law enforcement throughout the state of Texas and the United States. So we have chosen to do some things that are a little bit out of the box in our recruiting efforts throughout the state of Texas to try to bring in additional talent to the department. A lot of what we're looking to roll out, we've already done. With the restructuring of the department and creating some of the divisions within the department, such as our CID unit and our patrol unit, and now enhancing divisions within that. Our traffic unit, and one of the things that we're actually pretty excited about implementing is a DRU unit, which is a direct response unit, and that would be putting a group of individuals with investigative mindsets to dealing with problems that are essentially just directed to that problem, whether it's a mobility issue, first day of school, we're having those issues. We deal with that. If I'm having burglaries in a specific area or a specific type of burglary, then we address that. And so it's just a small group that works together to remedy some of the problems. So that's one of the things that we're looking at, to having at least off the ground a little bit towards the end of the year. Again, staffing is probably the obstacle we have in front of that. So we have to be fully staffed in order to make that happen. But that's one of the initiatives. The other is just, again, ongoing, is that our emergency management and how we address issues that are unexpected. So we're trying to prepare our staff to be able to address those issues. The big hot topic is active shooters. So yeah, we're diligently working on that and training our men and women to address those issues. But other things that we're having to deal with is how we're going to identify and how we're going to address and come up with solutions to remedy those issues as well. So those are all things that are just really up in front that we deal with, almost daily in our training and our emphasis. And again, a lot of law enforcement is unpredicted. But what we can do is predict on how we're going to respond to those certain situations. So that's one of the things that we kind of keep out in front of us as far as enhancing our training and our capabilities.
I am so excited to see the future of downtown and bustling with people and businesses and hopefully a parking garage. County, if you're listening. And but the new annex, the county annex with the judge's office, will be opening in May. There at the old library, and we're excited to see what that does within our downtown district and the growth that'll happen there. And I can't wait, like I said, to see it full of people day in and day out utilizing Harris Street and the projects there. And I couldn't finish tonight without giving my gratitude to the police department. We have the incredible privilege of living in the second safest mid-sized city in Texas. However, Chief, I don't believe we're the second safest because I don't count that city to the north. It's all behind the gate. So if you're all behind the gate, I don't think it should count. So we're going to claim that top spot. The seventh safest city in the entire nation. Hats off to our police department. Thank you for what you do for the residents day in and day out. And we're excited about your future and the new staff that continues to come, the development that I've gotten to watch of our officers and the promotions that are definitely well deserved. So congratulations. Thank you very much. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank staff. Staff has grown from literally a handful of people at City Hall downtown, the corner of 359 and 1093. But a handful of staff 6 years ago and a couple of people over at the industrial complex to almost 90 individuals today. So thank you, staff, for all of your hard work. We don't say it enough. We appreciate you. We appreciate what you do day in and day out. We're proud of you, and I hope we continue to put policies in place that make you want to work here. I can't tell you how many times just today I heard how glad they were that we threw in that little plug for the parental leave. So it was a policy change this year that they're incredibly grateful for. And with that being said, thank you, staff, for all of your hard work. Finally, none of this is possible without my colleagues on the dais. So council, thank you. You have made my job easy. I'm thankful for getting to know you, working alongside of you, and even calling you friends. You're a major part of my life, and I appreciate you. Thank you for all the hard work. Continue to be strong and set policy. And I said it the day that we started, we're better when we disagree. So thank you for agreeing to disagree at times so that we could press in and do hard things and make the best decisions that we could possibly make for the residents of Fulshear and for the city of Fulshear. Thank you very, very much.